So good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this Steelhead webinar. I will introduce you a little bit this Steelhead word. Steelhead is a new portal of Pittini Group. It means to be a direct line between our customer and our commercial network. So if you go there, you can fix a direct appointment with our commercial, our sales network. Then here you can find all our webinar, so you can subscribe and follow all our activities. And we will have soon some virtual events in it. And you can subscribe to our newsletter to be updated to all the news from us. I want also to remind you that if you have any question about the topic of today that I will introduce you soon, there is a chat, and you can write down here what you need to know. But I will start to introduce the two speakers of today and the topic. Today we're talking about the Austrian market and our experience in this market, because it's quite interesting case. And I have Tommaso Nasivera from the export department and Jochen Stuck, which is the CEO of BSTG. But I will start with my first question to Tommaso. So good afternoon, Tommaso. Can you give us an overview of Pittini Group, please?
Yes, sure. Flavio, thanks, and welcome to everyone. So, in order to be more effective, I will start with some figures and numbers regarding our group. The Pittini Group produces around 3 million tons of steel to be sold in 60 different countries all around the world every year. And it's a constellation of 18 production plants driven by 1,800 employees, more or less, and counting, I would say. It has an annual turnover of 1.5 billion euro. And to go deeper in our structure, let's say industrial structure, I would be more specific. We produce our liquid steel by melting the scrap in 3 different mills settled in Osopo, in Italy, which is also the headquarter, in Potenza, in the south of Italy, and from 2015, also in Verona. Just aside to the steel mills, we also have 4 rolling mills to produce wire rod or rebars for reinforcements, generally speaking. The other dots that you can see on the map are sales representative offices around Europe or plants which are producing semi-finished products such as, for example, stretched coils, electro-welded meshes, and so on. Pay attention to the 2 small dots settled in Austria. It's our sister company, BSTG. But for now, I don't want to reveal anything else in advance. Anyway, depending on the product, we have a wider range of delivery around the world, as you can see from this map. Those are the famous 60 countries in which we are delivering our products. Some of our products are regional ones, delivered only, let's say, in Central Europe for the most. Some others we can sell wherever in the world. Generally speaking, this slide shows us how split our quantities. Let's say 37% of our products are sold and delivered in the domestic market. Domestic means Italian, because we are a total Italian company. The rest of the quantities are sold all over the world, mostly in Europe, and 5% of them around the world, let's say, in non-European countries, overseas markets, let's say. We can divide our product that we produce in every company of ours by family, let's say. The first box is the wire rod, the most important one. We produce wire rod for drawing quality or wire rod for mesh quality. Then we have the cold drawn steel for mechanical uses. In the orange box, you can see some product related to the welding industry. And we also have the possibility to provide our customers some side product as the treated slag for asphalt and road solutions. But today, our focus goes to the second box, which is the reinforcement steel for building sector. Pittini range of steels for reinforcement concrete is among the most complete on the market. And I would say it's able to satisfy every kind of building requirement. We supply rebars in coils and meshes in different grades of steel, depending on the local standards. Of course, to do that, you would need a certification, of course. Going deeper in those products, since many years now, we are selling steel for reinforcement with this packaging that you can see in the picture, which is called jumbo coils. So it's a recoiled rebar, generally speaking. I can say the success of this product runs on three big strengths. The compact packaging, which allows a better storage, and trust me that in some countries, like Switzerland, for example, it's a big advantage because the Europpo for square meter is really high. Steel is strong but highly ductile, and this is good for the seismic zones. And since it's directly spooled in line, hot spooled in line, presents no longitudinal twisting when it's bended by our customers. Other products that we can provide, of course, are the rebars, the electro-welded meshes. We will go deeper in the products later, and some lattice girders. Example of those products on application of reinforcement steel you can see in the next slide. So the first picture that you can see, it's a tunnel project. I think it's the famous Brenner Basis tunnel between Italy and Austria. The second one is some reinforcement of some soil in Bayern, in Germany, and so on another construction site. It's just to give you an idea where our products are then used.
Thank you very much, Tommaso, about this brief overview. I will ask to Jochen to do the same thing, but about BSTG. So please, Jochen, welcome to this webinar, and please introduce us BSTG.
Okay, thank you, Flavio. Also, warm welcome from my side. I have the pleasure to introduce BSTG to you as the point of reference for the Austrian market in terms of electro-welded mesh. BSTG, Drahtwaren Produktions- und Handels GmbH, was founded in 1966 and was since then concentrating on the production of reinforcement products. And in 2013, Pittini Group and the M&S Maschinen- und Stahl-Holding GmbH formed a joint venture in which all the production facilities for electro-welded mesh were integrated into a new company named BSTG. And the focus since then is exclusively on the production of electro-welded mesh. Next slide, please. Well, talking about our market position, we can say that we are the market leader in the production and the distribution of electro-welded mesh in Austria. With our continuous investments in latest production technology, and of course the maintaining of an appropriate warehouse which provides all the Austrian types of mesh defined by the Austrian standards, we are able to supply the market and fulfill the customer's needs. Well, as you probably know, BSTG has its headquarters in Linz, Upper Austria, where there's also situated a production site with where electrowelded mesh is produced, both special mesh and also standard mesh. And on the larger production site in Graz-Raba, BSTG produces only standard mesh with a total production capacity of both sides of about 150,000 tons a year. Go ahead. Just some examples of the products we produce here in Austria in the two BSTG production sites. On the left-hand side, you can see 4 pictures of products that are produced in Linz. One is the classical electrowelded mesh, a special mesh that is tailor-made according to the needs or the demands of the customers. You can also see a detail of a product which is used for the reinforcement of soils, like in the picture below, where you can see a project which is in fact a retention system for avalanches that has been built in Bavaria, where products from BSTG in Linz were produced. And of course, last but not least, a very important topic in the Alpine region of Austria, the construction of tunnels, where BSTG is supplying important parts of the reinforcement material needed for the construction of these buildings. In Graz, we produce, as I already told you, standard mesh, mainly the two most important types of the Austrian market, which is the AQ mesh and the so-called Ölmatt-Schlaufenmatte, which is a special type of standard mesh that helps reducing the material input by achieving the same statical requirements. This is as a basis for you the products we produce in BSTG in Austria.
Okay, thank you very much, Joachim, for this quick overview. I would like to thank all the people that are live now. There are many of you. I see also many questions in our chat. I will put to our speakers at the end, but continue with our webinar. So, Tommaso, explain us why Pittini decided to acquire BSTG.
Okay, thank you for the question. Okay, the first goal target, it was to be more present on the Austrian market. First of all, you need to consider that Austrian market is not that far from us. The border here is only 80 kilometers far. And just to give an example, the distance from Osopo to Klagenfurt is exactly the same as from Osopo to Venice. I can say that this makes Austria kind of domestic market for us. We were already present in the market before, of course, with some standard meshes, but we wanted to empower our presence there, service and so on. So you need to consider that at that time, 2013, our company dimension was not as big as it is today, but I would say enough to start to consider to export some industrial plant abroad. Anyway, I personally think that what made the difference, it was in any case a win-win approach. And we need to pay attention to the word internationalization, because it's not only by acquiring some shares of some company that you do it. It's more about to share values which are important for us both. And we saw that these solutions, by acquiring BSTG, could have brought to both parties some gains. This is what I mean with win-win approach. So I would easily list some wins for both the parties that we were thinking could be, and I would say they are. Pittini Group wins were a better market penetration and share. That was the first goal, as I told you, but also some downstream verticalization of the wire rods along the value chain, the know-how on the final product, special product especially, and I would say also some better customer service by means of availability and width of products portfolio. On the other hand, BSTG could benefit from this cooperation because it can get regular supply of raw material with constant quality. They can have some new technological solutions. Just for example, the introduction of some ripped wire rod directly in line permitted huge gains of productivity, which was before it was some smooth wire rod used, so with another procedure and so on. And last but not least, some more investments capacity. This is really important.
Okay, thank you about this explanation, and I'll go back to Jochen and to ask a little bit more the point of view of the Austrian market. So, which were the critical points about this acquisition and how you managed to solve it?
Okay, first of all, with the acquisition or the forming of the joint venture, it was very much important to understand or to develop a new strategical approach to the Austrian market, as both companies in the past were already present on the market. So I think the big advantage in the end was to combine the strengths of both companies to serve the market. On the one hand, we have the BSTG located in the market, close to the customers, with the capacity to respond in a very short and quick way to the customer needs, also to be able to supply just in time, how to say. And on the other hand, to have the big steel group in the background that allows to support the company, especially in the moments when demand is very high, with the support to deliver also mesh required for the Austrian market to the customers, especially here to supply warehouses, less maybe the just-in-time deliveries to construction sites. So I think this is a very good combination of combining the strengths of a local producer and the big steel group in the background. Of course, also in terms of logistics, there were some advantages. Having one big supplier for the raw material, this allowed us, of course, to get the raw material supply assured, and of course, having the possibility to serve both just in time the local market from the local production side, responding immediately to the customer needs, and on the other hand side to establish a constant supply to warehouses of our most important customers directly from the plants of the Pittini Group in Italy.
Okay, so now, which is the situation? I will ask to Tommaso to give us an overview of the result of this new brand strategy in Austrian market.
So it looks like that in the end the things works. I would say we don't want to bother you with numbers, even if we are really fond of import-export statistics and so on. But what is important to say, I think, are three things. The customers now can rely on Pittini Group, and with more capacity from us, they can rely on Pittini Group from two channels, I would say. Our presence increased in the market not only by means of quantities, but also by means of number of customers, which is of course a plus for a general company, because you can reduce the risk of not to deliver for some unknown reason some quantities. If you rely on only one or two customers, you are not that strong as you have a wider portfolio, and you can do that, of course, better if you follow the market with two different from two different directions, let's say. And let me say that this acquisition, especially in the last year, I would call it a new card in the deck if something unusual happens. Last year, pandemia taught us how the condition can change suddenly from one day to another. An example, last year, all the Italian borders were closed. We managed anyway to deliver to Austria some trains of material which were forwarded further to our customers, in Austria, of course, but also to other countries like Czech Republic, I remember Slovakia also, ensuring deliveries to our customers. Without this, the help by means of logistics from the BSTG and the guys there, especially in Graz, we couldn't do that. So it's really another solution if in times of needs. This is it.
Okay, thank you about it. I hope into the questions are coming from our chat. I have also some question from both of you. I will start with Tommaso, because you talk about this good combination of two sales network in the same market, but I have a simple question. Is it too much to have two different sales networks in the same market?
Well, Flavio, that's a good question. You got the point. Actually, I would say that was one of the first concerns of us. How can we sell from two different sources our material? But I would say that the reality is it's simple to explain. First of all, you need to consider that our sales force in Austria, from Gruppo and from BSTG, doesn't have intermediaries, or sales agents and so on. You can talk directly with people from the mill. So this is, of course, a plus because you can get an answer on availability of prices, delivery status of your orders on first hand. So to do that, if you need to buy something, it's easy to understand. If you need coils, you call Gruppo. If you need meshes, you call Linz. It's all about the proximity to the production site, I would say, and this is, for us at least, is an advantage. Consider also, it's another side effect, that following customers from two sides, it's a plus for them because they can rely on more credit limits from insurance companies. So the buying power of our customers is much bigger, and this, of course, is a plus for them.
Great, thank you. And Jochen, I want to know a little bit more about the BSTG point. There are some advantages to be part of a big steel group such as Pittini.
Well, of course, there are advantages to be part of a big steel group, of a major steel producer on a European level. I think the most important topic is the raw material supply. In the case of BSTG, it's the delivery or the supply of wire rod that is used for the production of mesh. Well, BSTG, for example, is a fabricator of mesh. In this case, can rely very much on the quality of raw material, but not only in terms of the chemical composition of the steel, but also in the supply of uniform bundles of the same weight, for example. And these are very important factors that allow to improve the efficiency of a production plant. And this allows us, of course, to supply the market in the end at competitive prices. Furthermore, I think one important topic is the logistics on the raw material supply in terms of logistics, because we move a huge number of tons of wire rod, and with this very close collaboration with the production planning of Gruppo and other production plants and rolling mills of the group, we can really perfectly fit the demand of BSTG and have a just-in-time supply of the material that we need for the production of mesh. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Jochen. I will pick some question from our LinkedIn. I see more people are active there. I'll thank Narendra for his proposal. We will forward to our HR department. And I have this question from Pavish. I don't know, Tommaso, you will answer, which is the maximum tensile strength of rebars. Pavish is asking also if we have sheet, but we are only on long products market. So what about the tensile strength?
Yes, we are a long producer. So for the rebars, we can answer. For sheets, unfortunately not. Okay, I would say that rebars are sold in countries in which we have the certification to do it. Every country has different, of course, requests. And I would say if I have to give some average value, it should be something around 650 Newton per square millimeter, something like this.
Okay, thank you. And we have some compliments about Alessandro, about our tools. There is a very, very technical question about procedures but we will forward because we are not so technical about the cement, but we will forward to our customer service there. They're asking also, what about producing spools? I think is for Jochen, this question. Why only meshes and not spools, Jochen?
Well, as I told you before, I think it's a question of the strategy of the group in the end, to have a perfectly fit product portfolio for every single plant. And I think in the end, it's a matter of efficiency of the whole group from a global side, to have plants specialized on certain products. And in this case, it's clear the specialization of BSTG is the mesh, and other parts of the group and other mills of the group would produce other things in which they're specialized. Yeah.
Okay, so thank you very much. I don't see any other question from our followers, from people to attend the webinar. So I will thank you two, both Jochen and Tommaso, very much about this webinar. It was very, very interesting topic. And I will tell to all people that are listening to go to stillahead.it to see all the news about Pittini Group. So thank you very much and see you next time.
See you. Thanks.
See you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.